Hello and welcome everyone to the SID-US annual conference. We are coming at you live from Washington, D.C., the Ronald Reagan building, and the theme this year is Power Shift. My name is Nick Martin. I am the CEO of Tech Change, and all day long I'm going to be here in the pop-up studio interviewing amazing attendees for this year's live in-person conference. And Josh, you are the first one. Wow. Okay? So huge pressure, honor, all the above. Josh, I would love to ask you a little bit about who you are and what brings you out today.
Okay, sure. So my name is Joshua Anderson. I work for the Virginia Tech Center for International Research, Education, and Development. It's a mouthful. But basically, we're a land-grant university, which means we also have an outreach and extension mission, which other universities don't always have, which means that we are suited for doing international development work. So what I like the most is I'm a business development person, and I like looking for opportunities for partnering and finding projects where we can involve our faculty where they have expertise. And often it includes partnering with other institutions or universities overseas.
Anything in particular about being here today that you're excited about? Theme of Power Shift?
I think I'm just excited for the whole conference. This is my second conference, and I'm excited to meet new people and new organizations and kind of learn what other people are doing.
Well, that's great. So, Josh, we thank you so much for coming by and saying hi to us, and we wish you luck over the course of the day.
All right.
Enjoy yourself. Okay. All right, next up, come on in, come on down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, friend, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Ade Shemsu.
And where do you work?
I'm incoming consulting analyst at Accenture.
Okay, very exciting. So you are newer to the field of international development. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Brand new. So I did about almost a decade worth of just domestic work, and it was extremely rewarding, mostly environmental, nonprofit stuff. And that kind of drove just a massive interest in working in the international development space, because the way I saw it, if all this impact could be made here across these 11 states, those are the states I worked in, what can be done, at a global scale, essentially.
What a cool transition. So this is your first SID-US conference, is that true?
Very much so, yes.
What have you heard and what are you excited about?
What I've heard is it's an amazing opportunity, one, to network, but also just to be introduced to the space. And I'm most excited about exploring specifically like climate change solutions that are tied to the whole power shift narrative. So yeah, very excited for that.
Well, it's a great team you have at Accenture. Really excited to have you all here today, and we look forward to the event. Is there a particular session, or it sounds like climate change is top of mind in terms of a topic? Anything else that really excites you?
It's honestly, a lot of it's going to be focused on climate change for me in particular, but I do think I'm also going to really want to look into, I think one of the topics was humanitarian issues around hunger and that sort of thing, and having worked in cities where that's an issue here, like in the U.S., I'd like to explore that more at a global scale. Well,
we thank you for coming by the studio and wish you luck in your work. Absolutely. All right, take care. Do we have another person ready to go? Step right up. You want me to, all right, we're going to move me over here. I'm going to switch hands. And if you're joining us here live, getting warmed up for the day, it is starting to fill up here in the Ronald Reagan building. I think we're expecting quite, you want to come on in. Okay, you're both going to do it. Okay, fantastic. All right, I'm going to have you both introduce yourselves. Come a little closer to me. Okay, fantastic. All right, want to say hi and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Porter. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Sahad. I'm from Egypt.
All right, and what brings you out today? What are you all up to?
It's our first conference. We work with UNA, and we're really excited to meet, introduce our organization and meet other people with similar goals.
Yeah, like Rebecca said, this is our first conference here in DC, and we're excited about it. Just seeing people and employees too. So we're excited about this definitely.
So people watching may not know what UNA is. Does one of you want to take a crack at explaining the organization and the work y'all do?
So it's the United Nations Association, and we work to kind of work with some of the best parts of what the UN stands for. In terms of empowering collective identity through models like the Model UN in schools, but also kind of enforcing policies or kind of advocating for policies that work with world change for the better, like in I guess, addressing child labor is one of our newest policies, and environmental issues. So yeah, lots of good things.
Were you both Model UN enthusiasts in high school, college, grad school?
No, but we did study like international relations. So we did, yeah, but we didn't do Model UN.
What led you to this role? What excited you about working for this organization? I'm so curious.
Well, I'm actually, so I studied international relations at American University, and so I'm focusing on peace and global conflict. And
It's a great program.
yeah, so I'm actually like, I was interested to do like work for the UN, and this is like my first step.
I love it. I love it. I studied peace and conflict in Costa Rica at University for Peace. Have you heard of it? Down in Costa Rica, either? No? All right. Well, listen, what are you most excited about today? Last question. Any particular sessions or themes that you're most anticipating?
Obviously, the overall theme of power shifting is super interesting, and we're really excited to, you know, see what everyone has to say.
Anything?
No, actually, like, just, yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you both so much for coming and joining us in the pop-up studio. Enjoy your days. All right. Take care. All right. All right. Step right up. Who's next? Okay. Come on over. Oh, okay, another double. All right. Okay. All right. So, friends, I'm going to ask you to look at the cameras here and introduce yourselves and tell us where you work and what brings you out today.
All right. Well, hello. My name's Elijah Hill. So I'm an intern at the United Nations Association National Capital Area, and I work in the Global Classrooms DC program.
I'm going to ask you more about that, but let's have you introduce yourself first.
My name's Andrew Evinsky. I am also working for the UNA NCA in the Global Classrooms DC program.
All right, so let's talk about this Global Classrooms program. What is it, and what should we know about it?
So Global Classrooms DC exists to extend part of our mission to educate and drive engagement with the United Nations for Americans. So Global Classrooms DC runs a series of Model UN programs for students to help educate them on the UN and to get them more involved in that process.
Sounds amazing. Did he miss anything that you want to add?
He, like, basically we have we just had a big conference at the State Department for
very cool
for students, and that was a Model UN conference at the State Department that we first time back in 3 years. So it was really good to be back after COVID.
I got to ask, because there's probably folks watching who are like, how do I get this internship? How do I break into international development? What was your secret? What did you do to get this internship?
So to get my internship with the UNANCA, I got my internship through the National Council on U.S. Arab Relations, and we're placed with a series of partners, and they help us get involved with different organizations that are geared towards some of our interests, and then we go from there and just kind of built a portfolio, I guess.
I love it. Was the journey similar for you?
Very similar. I found it through my school's handshake, and then applied and got in, had to write a little essay about U.S. Arab relations, and then got matched with the UNANCA.
What's your dream job in D.C.? Is there an aspiration at the end of your journey that you're both looking at, or is it too hard to look that far in the future?
I'd like to work in the Foreign Service one day. So my parents were in the military. They work in public service now, so I'm hopefully going to do something where I'm working on behalf of the United States government.
I love that. What about you?
I definitely want to work in public policy, maybe on the Hill, maybe trying to, in a think tank, trying to develop good policies for our future, particularly with regards to foreign policy.
All right, friends. Well, we thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming by the booth, and have a great conference, okay? Take care. All right, we are going to invite another person, another conference attendee into our space. Come on over. Great. All right. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Power Shift, the conference, which you're looking forward to. Sound good? Okay. So who are you and what brings you out?
Hi, I'm Rayan. I'm a student at NYU, and I'm here working with the UNANCA. I'm interested in internationalism, international relations, public policy, and history. So those are my majors, of course. And we're very happy that the conference happened again at the State Department, because it's been quite a few years. And, you know, seeing it happen again is great.
Is there a theme, a conference theme or a topic or session that you are really looking forward to?
Well, I'm honestly looking forward to anything that focuses on internationalism. I think it's very important to keep a wide knowledge and a wide interest, in as many topics as you can. That gives you a better perspective on international relations as a whole. As you know, you need everything. You can't focus on international relations alone. It's better to be maximalist with one's view of international relations than to minimize.
What is your favorite thing about international development? Do you have something? You mentioned that you have a passion for internationalism. What is your favorite thing about this sector, this field, that comes to mind? Anything?
Well, actually, my favorite thing to study, as a person who enjoys learning, is I love the relationship between international relations and a country's domestic politics. And I feel that, my love for international has gotten me to look at and to follow a wide variety of nations' domestic politics on a daily basis. And I find that to be deeply enjoyable and very interesting. But, what I like about, what's happening in the world, I like to look at anything that provides more cooperation, especially international, large, almost more federal international organizations like the EU, which I find to be very interesting.
Well, we thank you so much for your time, for joining us, and we wish you a wonderful conference. Thank you, friend. Okay, take care. Come on up. All right. All right. Hi, Mike. Would love to have you share a bit about your work, where you work, and what brings you out today.
Sure, I'm Mike Staresinic. I'm president of Breakthrough Leadership, and I have a project called City 50 Project, which is working on transformations in large cities around the world, including Ukraine. Not limited to, but including Ukraine.
So here we are, SID-US conference. What excites you about today? Do you have any kind of sessions or topics that you're really looking to engage with?
Well, great question. I was co-chair of 2 work groups at SID, so I'm looking forward to all the amazing people in democratic transition, peace, security from those days. Number 2, I'm very interested to hear about what people are thinking about Ukraine, for sure. And number 3, of course, diversity and inclusion is top of the agenda, as it should be.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of sessions on both of those topics. Well, that's great to hear. Are there anything else in your work that you want to highlight for folks who are watching?
Yeah, I'm very interested in helping Ukraine win and rebuild, and I hope to find, there's a Ukraine interest group at the conference, and I hope we'll find each other today.
Yeah, I know we had the DIA Summit yesterday downtown. They were talking about digital transformation in Ukraine, so excited to extend that conversation today.
Absolutely, because they're very good at it. There's a digital minister, there's all kinds of, they're a very talented country for math, science, physics, and computer engineering and things. Yeah.
Well, we thank you for stopping by, Mike. Enjoy your conference. Take care. All right, it's a little bit like the red carpet before the Oscars, except it's international development. So we're going to invite another colleague. Come on over. Hi there. Welcome. I'm going to have you introduce yourself to the folks watching at home and tell us what brought you out today.
Great. My name is Paula Feeney, and I am from DT Global.
Oh, big fan of DT Global.
Well, thank you very much. So am I.
Good.
This is I should say it's an unusual time, but it's wonderful that so many are coming together, both virtually and here. Those of us who are blessed to be in Washington and can get here physically. So kudos to everybody who's joining your conference today.
So there may be some folks watching who are less familiar with DT Global. Do you want to share a little bit more about your work and what you specifically are doing at the organization?
I'd be delighted. DT Global is a major partner of the U.S. Agency for International Development. I myself used to be with USAID in the Foreign Service.
Oh, wow.
It's wonderful to come back to the Ronald Reagan building, of course, now in the private sector, but a partner, an implementing partner for USAID. So that's what brings us here, and some of the topics of the day, building democracy, economic growth, food security, these are all things, conflict prevention are all things that we do as USAID partners. And so I'm hoping some of our fellow former colleagues of mine or others from USAID will venture down from upstairs where they live and work. Come on down and see for themselves how important today is.
Can I ask you, was there a favorite post or country or project in your journey as a Foreign Service officer that really sticks out? Anything you want to share with us?
What's most unusually is my time in Central Asia. I was in the first group of Americans who went in when we set up USAID in Central Asia in Kazakhstan.
Incredible.
A long time ago. 92 to 95, so maybe before you were born. But great memories of that part of the world when it was open to Americans, and everybody I met had never met an American before, and so that's very unusual in one's career. And then trying to figure who they were and how we might be able to work with them. And still are. Our country's still working in Central Asia. So I would say that was a high point. And I worked in the 5 republics of Central Asia.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful share. Well, listen, we thank you so much for coming by, sharing a little bit with us, and hope you enjoy your conference. Okay.
And I guess it's Tech Change that we have to thank.
Tech Change and Counterpart, who is sponsoring this experience, but yeah, we're running the live the video pop-up studio here. Hey, thank you so much. All right, absolutely. Take care. All right, we're going to do one more. Come on over. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, how are you? So I'm going to have you introduce yourself to the folks watching as we're warming up the day here.
I'm Alvine, and I work with International Executive Service Corps, rebranded as Improving Economies for Stronger Communities.
All right, and what brings you out today? Why come to this epic gathering of SID-US professionals?
This is actually my first time attending the SID conference. My coworkers told me about it. They're like, Alvine, you have to attend. And I've been working in the international development sector for a year now. Okay. And they're like, well, this is the event. So I'm just super excited to meet everyone and network. Yeah, that's what brings me here.
Year one down. Any big reflections? What was it like, your year one journey as international development young professional?
So it's an interesting journey because there's the idea you have of the industry outside of it, and then there's, you know, the real thing when you're working in there. And I would say I wasn't, you know, too disappointed. It just gave me more perspective as to what work we're actually doing and how we're actually impacting lives. I come from, you know, an African country, and I've always been aware of international development. You know, we see what everyone's doing in all these countries, but when I started working here, I was like, okay, now I actually see what we're actually doing from a, you know, inside perspective, and I'm not disappointed at all.
Oh, that's great to hear. Is there any work project you're particularly excited about that you want to share with folks? What has kept you busy this year?
So, interestingly enough, I work on 3 different programs. And
3?
Yeah, it's a ride. Yeah, it's been a ride for me. One is in Djibouti, another one in North Macedonia, and one in the Republic of Georgia. And they're all workforce development programs, so we work with youth and just helping them, you know, improve their lives and get better jobs. And yeah, so that's what I'm really into. But I don't know, for the future, I'm hoping, you know, to work on agricultural projects, but still youth related, because, you know, everyone is a stakeholder when it comes to agriculture, so I'm really much interested in that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Well, Alvine, we thank you so much for coming by the booth today. Have a wonderful conference, and good luck with your important work. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And I'm not seeing my lead, but I think that is going to. Are we wrapping up this session? Okay, so we're going to wrap up this session. We're going to be coming back multiple times throughout the day to bring you all kind of the pulse and the buzz here at Society for International Development's annual conference. And yes, the conference venue is filling up quickly, so excited to get more folks on camera throughout the day. All right, again, I'm Nick Martin. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon. Take care.